Hello and welcome to QCTV's Live and Local. This is the Andover edition. We're here at Bunker Park Stables. I'm your host, Jim Childs, and today we're going to be showcasing some of the businesses in Andover, along with talking with some city officials, including the city administrator, the fire chief, and hey, there's a new sheriff in town. So saddle up. It's Live and Local Andover edition. It starts right now. Thanks again for joining us on Live and Local, the Andover edition. We are here at one of the hidden gems of Andover, Bunker Park Stables, and we are joined with the office manager, Pat Heid, who's been here for almost a decade, and she's going to kind of tell us a little bit about the stables and kind of what happens with the stables. And so, Pat, hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us here on Live and Local. Great. So, hey, tell us a little bit about the history of the stables and how, your history here and then the history of the stables
Sure.
In general.
Sure. So the stable itself has been here in some form for probably 50 plus years as part of the Bunker Hills Regional Park. On our side of the park, we have about 600 acres that are dedicated for horse trails. This Bunker Park Stable, as we know it right now, the owners have been here in some form for 20 plus years, many years in the business. We have about 70 plus horses here, anything from the smallest pony up to the biggest draft.
Wow.
And we offer lots of different activities for everyone in the family.
Well, that's great, and you can see in our background we've got these horses, and you guys are doing tours today or rides today, and
Yes.
That happens every day. The horses, probably some of your favorite coworkers, I'm sure, are out there.
Yes.
Which ones are some of your favorite?
Oh boy, some of the smaller ponies. We have Quincy and Charlotte, some of our newer ponies.
Okay.
The riding horses, Ranger's a good one. Buzz is a new one. He's fun to ride, a little feisty. And then the draft horses, every one of them, they all work very hard, anything from trail rides to the pulling the wagons and the sleighs, so hardworking animals.
Great. So the staff here obviously works with the horses, even probably 24/7. You've got eyes on, and some of the staff. You can kind of work into the camps too, right? And some of the camps during the summer, you get to actually not just ride, but work with the horses as well.
Yes. So we do offer day camps June, July, and August. Those get posted on our website January 1st, and they fill fast. So if your kids are interested, that's when you want to be looking at those. Throughout the year, we also offer a one-day MEA camp, and then we'll do a spring break camp as well. But the kids get assigned a horse for the day. They work all the way through grooming, leading, saddling, and then to riding, and a lot of fun for the kids. They come back year after year.
So they get more comfortable around the horses,
Yes.
and I'm sure initially there's some intrepidation, but they've got some supervision as they go through, right?
Always. Our camp counselors have been doing this for years, and they're all good riders themselves. And many camps, some of the kids start out in tears, but they always end up with a lot of smiles on their faces.
And probably some tears as they leave because they've probably pretty attached to the horses.
Yes, they all have their favorites.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good. And so school starting next week, and you were going to probably, obviously the camps shut down, but you also have some seasonal events coming up, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we are open year-round here, so trail rides go year-round, even in the winter, as long as the footing is good for the horses. But we are moving into our big hay ride season, so we'll have those going on the weekends and some weeknights, October and November, and then if we get enough snow, fingers crossed, we will also go into the sleigh ride season. So the big sleighs go out as well as the small antique.
Okay. So with the sleighs and the hay rides, can you get a private, rent a whole one out, or is it sign up? Tell us a little bit how you sign up.
They're all private to your group. So if you, the base price is usually for 10 people, and then you go up from there, usually up to 30 on the hay wagons, up to 25 on the sleighs.
Okay. So, and how long are the rides generally?
45 minutes long.
45 minutes.
The antique is 30.
Okay. And then You've got some picnic tables out here where people
Yes.
kind of can enjoy before they go out and when
Yep.
they get back, and that sounds.
Yep, and you can also have a bonfire, a little
Okay.
extra charge, but we get that fire going for you, stoke it up with enough wood for an hour. You bring whatever you want. People are very creative. They bring crock pots and all kinds of food for their family and their group.
Oh, that's great. And it's on the weekends too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us, as the office manager here, you not only have to deal with the animals a little bit, but how many staff are involved here?
It depends on the time of year. I would say anywhere from 20 to 30 people. Big staff on the weekends, obviously, especially when we hit hayride season, because we'll have the big trails going out as well as the wagons. So we need people to head the horses as well as drive the horses, take out the trails, load the trails, unload the trails, and then we're feeding horses in between there, saddling, unsaddling. So lots of moving parts.
If someone is interested in becoming an employee here and working with the horses, how do they do that?
Just send us an application or a resume to our email, or you can call and we'll let you know how to get it to us.
Okay.
We do ask that you have a minimum of, say, 3 to 5 years horse experience.
Okay.
This isn't for maybe somewhere to start learning about it. We need somebody that hits the ground running and knows their stuff.
Okay, great, very good. And if we've got some, if you want to find out more information about the events that are coming up and how to sign up for sleigh rides, how do we do that?
Go to our website first off, Bunker Park Stable MN. That gives you information on all of our activities. Otherwise, you can call our office and we'll help you out. Reservations are always made over the phone or in person and nothing online.
Okay, great, excellent. So we really appreciate you being here. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we?
No, we would love to have everybody come out. I know we were just talking and you said you lived close by and you didn't even know we were here.
Nope.
We get that all the time, but yes, we would love everyone to come out and enjoy a hayride this season or a trail ride. Come see the horses.
Yeah, right off of Bunker, we are here at the Bunker Park Stables and right next to the regional park.
Yes.
Just a beautiful venue, and we really appreciate you, Pat,
Thank
for
you.
joining us today.
Thank you for coming out with the show.
Yes, and thanks for letting us film here. Absolutely great. So, coming up next, we have the Lions Club. The Lions Club is a community-based. It serves the community, and it also has a chapter here in Andover. And we're going to tell you about that chapter and what they're doing for Andover right now.
Call to meeting order. So every time we start a meeting, we ring the bell.
Men and women of 18 years of age are welcome to join the Andover Lions Club.
Our motto is we serve. So that's what we do, and we're here to help whenever help is needed. And that's what I like about the Lions personally. So giving back to the community.
The Andover Lions Club has been a hidden pillar of the city of Andover. Since 1974, they have been cleaning up area parks, giving phones to women at the Alexandra House, and fundraising to bring sight to those with eye problems.
I'll tell you my favorite one though. My favorite one was when an older gentleman came in and his wife wasn't able to read anymore. And there's some special glasses out there that they can wear. I don't know what it does, I've never seen one, but he was looking to buy a pair of these glasses that magnifies the font in books. And he was very nervous coming in. He's never asked for money before in his life. It was his first time, and we donated. It just was a great feeling to see him come in. Knew he wasn't comfortable doing it, but he came in and we donated right away to give his wife glasses so she could continue to read in her elderly age. And that was great. There's just so many different places that we donate to that makes it feel worthwhile to me. So it makes me feel great that we do this. Yeah.
They have done fundraising for things like the Andover High School Leo's Club.
So the Andover Lions sponsor the Leo's Club at Andover High School. There, I believe, were 60 kids in that club last year, and they do a lot of volunteering They planted trees last year, so they did this fundraiser where our club sponsored them so they could buy trees and provide them free to the community. And the Leos went out and planted them themselves. Some of them will attend our meetings once in a while and update us on their progress. And we support them however we can. And today's Leos are tomorrow's Lions.
Where there's a need, there's a lion. And Greg wants more people to get involved.
We're not that well known in the community, and I think a lot of people have the idea that the Lions are old people, that they just show up at different things, but no, we are at a lot of different things, and we do help the community a lot behind the scenes, whether it's donating personally or to the bigger organizations. You know, we donate to many, it's wide variety that we donate to. Yeah, and we are unknown, but I want to make ourselves known throughout the community, that we are a good organization.
I want people, when they hear about the Andover Lions Club, they're not thinking a bunch of old people. They're thinking a bunch of people from 18 to 60 who like to have fun and get out and give some time to help other people.
Some of the organizations the Andover Lions Club support are community organizations, hearing and visual impaired, scout groups, local food shelves, and of course, the Andover Lions Club is part of the Andover Family Fun Fest.
Yeah, our big fundraiser is selling beer at the Andover Family Fun Fest. It's a hit. I mean, we get people that come back year after year after year, and you know, the funny thing is people always complain, how do I get free beer? And I'm like, I can get you free beer. And they're like, really? I'm like, well, yeah, become a member of the Lions Club. You can have free beer. No one's taken us up on it yet, though.
The Andover Lions Club is going to celebrate their 50th anniversary of their start. With currently 25 members, men and women, they will be hosting a party, but details are still in the works.
We're starting to see a lot of younger people join the Lions, both men and women, and yeah, we'd like to see our club grow. All are welcome. Anyone over 18 is welcome. Absolutely.
So come and join in on the fun and become an Andover Lion.
And every time we end the meeting, we ring the bell. Meeting adjourned.
We are back. Thanks again for joining us here on Live and Local. And hey, we've got the new sheriff in town, Sheriff Brad Wise, and we also are fortunate to be joined by Tierney Peters. She is the Community Relations Director, Coordinator, and we were just talking off camera about the fact that Sheriff Wise is this is the first year for you, but the 166th year for Anoka County Sheriffs. You were the 18th, which is a fairly short list of for 160 plus years, and we are so happy to be part of have you part of Live and Local. Both of you being part of Live and Local today.
Well, I definitely appreciate the invitation that we get a chance to talk about the Sheriff's Office, the work that we do as we work to support the community.
Well, good. So you were sworn in January, and Tierney, you were there, and adjusting microphones and making sure that Sheriff Wise looks good. How's it been going since you've been taking the reins?
It was phenomenal from day one. I was very warmly received. Unlike a lot of elections, there was no controversy. My opponent was a class act. It was a great race. He's still a part of the office, and he's my co-partner as we work to provide service here for the residents of Andover and for the greater Anoka County.
Well, that's great. Tierney, you have been part of the Sheriff's Office for the past 3 years. Kind of explain what your job entails.
Sure. So I handle a wide variety of things, from media relations to notifying the public about things going on in the community in regards to, critical incidents or just more positive community outreach activities. I also handle our social media and am part of community event planning.
Okay, well, great. One of the things that has come up recently is the fact that there's been a change to the state law with in regards to special resource officers within the schools, and there's been some I guess maybe a little confusion on whether some of the large events are going to be handled, and kind of the stance from the Anoka County Sheriff. And both of you guys are here. I'm going to ask a question. How is Anoka County dealing with it?
Actually, I really appreciate you bringing that question up, Jim, because there's definitely misconceptions that are out in the public about what's going on. So what you'll hear in the news will be comments about Sheriff's Office pulling out of school, or other law enforcement agencies pulling out of school, as if we're stepping away from the school and abandoning them. That couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of it is in the fine details of the statute, but I think I can explain it in a simple way, because I do want parents to understand that the Sheriff's Office will be there to support and protect students when they're in schools. Obviously, it's vitally important. For those of you on day one of school next Tuesday, September 5th, I believe, I myself will be physically present in Andover High School because it's important to me. That said, the statute redefined the role of a SRO, a school resource officer, who is a contract employee of a school. And what the statute did, it was limited the times that a school resource officer can physically intervene in incidents. You hear a lot of talk about violent incidents. Yes, school resource officers can still intervene in violent incidents in schools, but that statute change prohibits school resource officers from physically inserting themselves in nonviolent incidents, which are actually not that uncommon, like drugs in school, thefts in school, somebody trespassing in school. An SRO can't physically intervene if that person happens to be a student that's, say, trespassing. The circumstance, I think, that's easy for people to understand is, let's say a high school student, for whatever reason, decides to walk into an elementary school and the SRO happens to be there. The SRO couldn't physically remove the student. The only way the SRO could get the student out of the school is if they voluntarily left. What the SRO would be expected to do now, because the law changed, the SRO would be expected to call 911 and have an on-duty patrol deputy respond and have the patrol deputy remove the student. I realize it's fine detail, that's hard to understand the nuance. It's vitally important to us who are providing the law enforcement service that the SRO retains the responsibilities and the training that is consistent with a deputy that's working on the street.
Okay, well, great. And I think people think, obviously, that, oh, you know what, you're not going to be monitoring high school games. And there's been a lot of instances. Last year, I believe, in Coon Rapids, or 2 years ago in Coon Rapids, there was an incident. And then you guys are going to be present at the large community events, right?
Absolutely. We will be present at Andover community events that are like that, football games and so on. I know that all my law enforcement partners in Anoka County, they are also planning to be at their football games and so on. The difference in this fall of 2023 is that the deputies that will be present at an Andover football game, their overtime will be paid for by the city of Andover, not the school. Again, which is digging in the weeds a little bit, but I think people can understand we're trying not to be agents of the school. The same in Coon Rapids and Blaine. Those two agencies will have officers at their home football games. They will no longer, that security detail will no longer be paid for by the school itself, which then allows the officers and deputies to do the work that they've been trained to do, to intervene, say a student is under the influence. And because drinking at a football game, while you would prefer kids not be drinking at a football game, kids been doing that for as long as I've been around. Somebody's going to show up drunk at a football game. And we want to make sure that the officers and deputies can go intervene. And if a kid doesn't want to go off of the grounds and be put into an ambulance, for instance, if they're really intoxicated, that the officer or deputy will be able to take physical control of the person and compel them to get either to their parents or in an ambulance.
Great, and that kind of works side by side with the school and some of the policies they have of making sure they show the student ID, and so
we'll be shoulder to shoulder with school staff.
Yes, that is great news, and I'm sure going to reassure a lot of parents out there. So thanks for helping explain that. Heidi, I'm going to come to you next. There was the Night to Unite just happened in August. Tell us a little bit how it went for the Anoka County Sheriff's Department.
So it was another great year. Night to Unite is always something that our office enjoys, and I know our community enjoys. Getting out there, going to those parties. I know Sheriff Wise, has enjoyed being able to go and, as his first year of sheriff, go and interact with members of the community. And so it was a great thing. Our deputies love it. We have great pictures of interacting with the kids. We bring out the toys. I know our partners in the fire department come out too, and the squads, the fire trucks, the kids love that. So, it's just a great way to just always remind our community we are here. We're here on your good days and we're here on your bad days. And we want to see them. We have to see them on their bad days, but we also want to see them on their good days too.
Well, that's great. Well, one of the programs that is out there is called Drug Take Back Program. Explain a little bit about what that is.
Sure. So our Drug Take, it's a partnership with the DEA. And the Anoka County Sheriff's Office is a part of it, and it's really to help get expired and or unused drugs off of the street. So much abuse can happen by the wrong people getting into those kind of medications that did have a purpose at one time. So it's a safe way to come to our office during business hours, 8 to 4:30. We have a secure take-back bin. You don't have to remove any labels or anything because it's all securely and safely destroyed. And you can put those in the bin, no questions asked. We also have 2 large events, one in the fall and one in the spring, where we do an actual drive-through event. So people can just come into our parking lot. They don't even have to leave the car, hand it over to a deputy, and we'll get rid of destroying it for them.
Okay. How do we find out when that is?
Sure. So the date hasn't quite been set, but check our website, the Anoka County Sheriff's Office website, as well as our social media, and we will post those dates.
Okay. Well, great. So basically, if you've got some drugs at home, something that you maybe you had a surgery, you didn't use all of them, please just bring them in. Let's not allow them to get possibly into the hands of toddlers or left behind. Yep. Don't flush it down the toilet.
Correct.
let's get it to the right spot, and no questions asked. I think that's excellent.
And something for people to keep in mind as well is pet medicines, veterinary medicines.
Oh, that's a good one.
They can drop those off too, and we can destroy those safely.
Sheriff Wise, can you tell us a little bit about what the Explorer and the Reserve programs are?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to talk about that too, because police explorers, or law enforcement explorers, I guess generically, because both police departments and sheriff's offices have them, is an opportunity for kids 14 to 18 years old to get a taste for what it's like to be in the profession in law enforcement. Some of you may have children that have said, I want to grow up to be a police officer, I want to grow up to be a deputy. Is that encourage them, if they're 14, to apply to become a part of our Explorer post. We put them in uniforms, we teach them all about law enforcement. Truthfully, we're hoping to recruit those young people into the profession long term. As you know, as everybody knows, is that we're having a hard time recruiting people into the profession. We really feel like we need to get young kids, to see what the profession is all about, see the professionalism, see the camaraderie, and that we're hopeful that in the long run it'll lead to kids coming into the program. Reserves are much along the same lines, only they're older. So if you're over 18 and say you have some other career but you always wanted to be sort of interested or be a part of law enforcement, is that we also take reserves on an application basis. We teach them about law enforcement. In the case of reserves, though, we have them participate in community events, so they are supplemental security, for instance, at the fair or parades or those sorts of things. But it's a great way for people to be involved in their community, to be uniformed, and if we're lucky, we'll talk 1 or 2 of them into getting into the profession full time. Okay, great. And that is through the website? Is Okay, great. Yep. Well, hey, listen, the partnership that you and the city of Andover have, and the whole county, really, I don't think we can ever appreciate you guys enough and tell you how much that we think that you're out protecting our streets, and also proactively with helping citizens and just being part of a good partner with your neighborhood. So thanks so much for being here today on Live and Local. All right.
Thank you so much.
Hey, coming up next, we've got a great spot for you to express yourself and show some of your dance moves. The Dancing Feet Dance School in Andover is showing off its stuff. Coming up next.
My mother started the dance school. She actually lived in Kansas. She took over from her dance teacher. And her and my father lived in Kansas. She taught at the university there, and then my father got transferred here to Minnesota, and she started teaching in schools here. and it grew, and then she opened a studio in our home. So we had a dance school in the basement of our home. And our philosophy has always been recreational dance school. We want to do what's good for the heart, the mind, the soul, spiritually. We're a faith-based dance school. We like to serve with our time and our talents through dance. We believe dance is an art. The forms of dance that we do here, tap, jazz, ballet, clogging, Irish, lyrical, a little bit of hip hop, and then we also do some ballroom classes as well.
My favorite thing about the art of dance would just be the joy that it brings you. It's just such an expression of emotion, and to be able to just express that through dancing is so cool. To be able to tell a story through a dance and have people feel and see that passion and that artistry is just so cool. I personally have attestations from my own family members and friends who've come to watch recitals and have seen like my own choreography with my dancers and like brought them to tears, and it's like, not that I ever want them to. It's always just so amazing to see like how dance is just a language of the body, and it's also an art, so it's really cool. We offer so many different types of dance classes. We are a recreational-based dance studio, so you're not going to find competition teams here, but we do have recreational performance teams that go and serve in our community once a month, and they serve at all types of different community events. So whether it's our nursing home or a local sporting event or a charity in the community, we're usually there helping to support them and raise awareness through dance and through our time and our talents. In addition to that, we have all sorts of classes. We have all the way from age 2 or 18 months all the way through adults. I think our oldest student is in her 80s. She's in one of my clogging classes. So it's just so fun to see that age range in all of the different classes, whether it's ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, lyrical, Irish, clogging, point. There are so many different styles of dance that we do here that just make it so fun for all of our dancers.
We do have a website. Our website is dancinfeetdance.com. You can also reach us by phone or text at 763-433-9332. We'd love to have conversations with people, whether they end up dancing with us or not, just finding the right fit for a dancer that is either wanting to try it. They can come try classes for free. We have trial weeks where they can just come in and enjoy a dance class, or if they want to sign up and take a class once a week, or join a performance team and add one more class and perform once a month for our community. It's a family, and a lot of dance schools have that aspect, but when you take out the competitive aspect, the kids become really close friends, the families become friends, because they're not competing for spots either. They're just enjoying the art of dance and having fun.
Welcome back to QCTV's Live and Local, and we have a special visitor now. We've got the Fire Chief of Andover, Dennis Jones here. He's entered his 4th year, and Dennis, welcome to Live and Local. Thanks for joining us today. How you been?
Thanks for having me. I've been doing well, thank you. So,
Good
to be back.
So we were talking that it's been a really busy time for Andover, especially the last 30 days. What's been going on?
Well, Andover is a growing, bustling city, and in the last 30 days or so, we've had over 200 calls for service, which is a big thing for a city the size of Andover. So our men and women have been busy answering calls, day and night, every day of the week. So it's been a very busy time for us.
Yeah, and just a reminder that it is a volunteer fire department.
Right, it's a paid on call department. Yep. We have a 5 approved career staff for administrative work, and the chief, deputy chief, and then 3 fire captains for different disciplines throughout the fire department. So,
well, good. So with the summer season, any of those calls related to the hot weather?
Well, there are. We get a lot of medical calls of people of overexertion, heat-related incidents, and again, the nicer weather, more people are out and about, riding bikes, driving, doing whatever. So there's, summer months we're usually generally busy with things of that nature, but again, with our heat, it's very important for people to remember stay hydrated, right?
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time outside, you get wound up in your activities and kind of lose track of, you got to make sure we're staying hydrated.
Okay.
So,
well, good, and you guys too as well. I'm sure you guys have to do
absolutely.
that when you're out on these calls.
Absolutely.
So, what about fireworks? How bad of a summer was it for firework issues?
Well, for us, thankfully, fireworks wasn't really a big deal.
Yeah.
Again, we're fortunate; it's not as dry as other parts of the country, but for us, we were pretty fortunate. We had very minimal fireworks events.
Okay, good. Training, some of the training that you guys have done recently,
Yep.
what have you been doing?
Well, training, when I first started here, one of my initiatives was to create more of a command presence, more of a communication presence, and so we've trained up the entire fire department in a blue card command training program, so that's helped, and we're developing our people from within as well. Nearly everybody now is, in addition to their state certifications for firefighting, they're now officer trained, inspector trained, instructor trained, so now we have a very educated and trained up workforce where we can all kind of continue our move forward into the future. So.
Which absolutely helps, especially when you're a volunteer and,
Yep.
and you can kind of cross train people into some different
Exactly.
different deals.
Yep.
So speaking of staffing, one of the things that I know that in every industry there is a struggle with is finding people right
Correct.
now. Tell us about what you guys are doing, and do you have any events coming up, and how does somebody become a firefighter
Right.
for Andover?
Okay, well, I'll get the event out of the way before I forget.
Yeah.
September 16th is our open house at the Andover Community Center. We're partnering with the Sheriff's Office and the National Guard. I believe Lifelink will bring a helicopter in. So we have a lot of nice little community partners coming in to celebrate that. Again, that's September 16th at the Anoka County, or the Andover Community Center. Regarding recruitment and retention, you're right, public safety is really a difficult time to recruit and retain, especially in Andover. We have a very unique citizen base, and it's hard for us to recruit. We're allotted 56 firefighters. We're down to 44, 45. It's a continual time to recruit and try and retain. So right now we're currently recruiting. It's always a 24/7 thing. So if people are interested, they can reach out at the Andover City Hall or on our website, and that'll help them get through the application process. But yeah, we're out recruiting, and every time we get a chance to go out and talk to people, we always bring it up, and we've been pretty fortunate so far.
What is the if you were going to build an avatar of a firefighter, of what you have right now that would fit into that, what would somebody, I mean, if I'm at home watching right now and think, man, maybe I want to do this, who is that person? What are you looking for?
We're looking for someone who wants to serve the community, someone who wants to be part of something bigger than themselves, right? It's when you join the fire department, you join another family, if you will. We want someone who has time to bring their unique skills, right? We're all different, we all have strengths and weaknesses. As someone who thinks that they can contribute in their own special way, right? So we're looking for someone who wants to take a chance, someone to contribute.
Oh, well, that's excellent. So one of the things that new recruits always want, they want to be on the new stuff. What do you have anything on order?
Well, actually, City Council and our finance department, we're currently just putting in an order for a new apparatus. Generally, that's an 8 to 10 month process. We're looking at 24 to 38 months.
Okay.
So we're lucky we were able to get an order in now, and hopefully with the supply chain issues, we'll see that rig earlier, but we'll see what happens.
The last time you were on Live and Local, we were standing right next to one of the new trucks. What was that? That was number one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was engine one. It was a brand new Pierce that we again ordered 10 months earlier, and it had just arrived probably a week or two before we had our last show. So yeah,
good. So the community, it's not just about firefighting and going out and putting out. It's also about outreach and public, education on this. What are some of the programs you have going with that right now?
Well, we have Captain Christy Wisniewski. She's excellent. She's known statewide for her efforts. We're doing outreach through Facebook, and again, I'm not a very good computer guy, but Instagram. We're going out to the community. Especially events, community events, things in the park, movie night, things of that nature. So Christy's very creative, and like I said, she does a wonderful job for us.
Okay, great. Anything you'd like to add before we
Well, no, like I said, it's been a busy four years for me. You know, it started off kind of rough with the COVID event, but you know, as a fire department, we're very thankful that we have great support of the community and great support of our city council and city administration. It's a good place to be, so we feel very fortunate to be part of the community as well.
Yeah, and I want to just add, having a chance to meet you and Sheriff Wise, what a great camaraderie. It looks like you two have a good synergy to make sure that you guys are working together and,
Yes.
and going in the same direction, not only for the public, but in recruitment and,
Yes.
and just public knowledge and education.
Well, Sheriff Wise and I, we go way back. We graduated from high school together, and you know, our groups of employees, of firefighters and deputies, work really well together. We have a great sheriff's department, and again, we feel lucky to have them. And again, they make sure our job is safe, or as safe as it can be. So I think we have a great team going on, and I look forward to working with them in the future.
Well, we're lucky to have you and Sheriff Wise, so thanks so much for being
Right,
part
thank
of here today. Coming up next, the Anoka County has a new recycling program. It's organic recycling, and here's more on how to participate with organic recycling.
Join the Anoka County Organics Recycling Program today. Say goodbye to tossing food scraps and paper products in the trash and say hello to free composting at your convenient yard waste sites. Here's why you should be a part of this green revolution. Just bring your food scraps, paper products, coffee grounds, and more to our yard waste sites all for free. When participating in the Organics Recycling Program, your food scraps and non-recyclable paper product will be recycled into compost at a commercial composite facility. Compost reduces erosion, enhances moisture retention, and minimizes the need for synthetic fertilizers. By participating in the Anoka County Organics Drop-Off Program, you're directly contributing to a greener and more sustainable environment.
Wait, put it in here instead. Oh, thanks.
Just sign up for a drop-off location convenient for you. Swing by the compost sites or any participating city location during operating hours and pick up your free starter kit. The starter kits include a countertop collection pail, BPI certified compostable bags, and other informational materials so you know exactly what is and what is not accepted. What is accepted is all food scraps, fruit and vegetables, meat and dairy and eggs, coffee grounds, certified compostable products, and much, much more. What is not allowed though is plastic items, styrofoam, non-certified compostable products, certain paper products, and general recyclables. And why should you choose organic recycling? Well, organic waste makes a significant portion of landfill trash. By recycling organics, you're diverting waste from landfills and turning waste into a useful resource. That compost enriches soil, that enhances plant growth, moisture retention, and nutrient availability. It's a win-win for both your garden and the planet. Your participation supports local composting efforts, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers and promoting sustainable practices. Together, we can turn waste into a valuable resource and nurture a healthier world. To get all the details and to stay informed, visit the website at anokacountymn.gov/organics.
Hey, and we are back here with the City Administrator of Andover, Jim Dickinson. Thanks for joining the show today, Jim. And you've been a good partner with QCTV, and you've been part of Andover for a while. I'm not going to say old or whatever, that's for a long time, but you have absolutely been stewarding this community along for a long time, and we really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So a couple of things. We had two recent meetings, neighborhood meetings, to give some updates on some of the contaminations that came from the private wells recently in the Red Oaks area and Eastbrook Terrace neighborhoods. Can you tell us kind of what came of those meetings?
Sure. Well, one, it's all partnership working with the MPCA, Minnesota Department of Health, and the federal EPA. Again, a little bit of alphabet soup about who's involved. But again, to kind of preface all the conversation, it's private wells that are impacted by some legacy type situations within the city of Andover, whether it be the WDE landfill or it be the South Andover Superfund site. Andover, unfortunately, proud owner of two Superfund sites. So the two can point at each other and say, this one, that one. At the end of the day, the city, we don't really care at this point where it came from. It's let's get a solution to the neighborhoods. And that was really the focus of the Red Oaks neighborhood meeting. Eastbrook a little bit different, but one thing to keep in mind, the city system. The city system is safe, tested regularly. We meet all the Minnesota Department of Health standards for the city water. That's what we're going to bring to the Red Oaks neighborhood, which has a contaminant called 1,4-dioxin, a contaminant that was not much known to anybody for many years. Then all of a sudden they start testing for it, and lo and behold, here's something new that we're dealing with within the city of Andover. But Red Oaks, you know, kind of a long journey to get funding, but funding's been secured to bring city water into the neighborhood at no cost to the residents, because it's no fault of their own that their wells have been contaminated. So one, for that neighborhood, it's really to let them know that the project is coming. Two, it's fully funded. And three, who do they get to talk to along the way? And I was happy to say at those meetings, I've now handed that development's problems and concerns over to the city engineering department, and they'll be leading the way to get that in place. Now the Eastbrook neighborhood, that's a totally different story, because it's kind of where the Red Oaks neighborhood was 2 years ago. First few wells were discovered to have contaminants, and now we start the study for a broader area. So Eastbrook, for those that don't know, is down by just east of Crooked Lake Boulevard, but west of the Coon Creek, so, and south of Bunker Lake. So an area with private wells yet.
So I would imagine, you know, your job is to be the conduit between all of these agencies and be able to kind of bridge and map out the solution. Is that kind of what happened with this?
Yeah, and I really kind of see myself as the advocate for the neighbors. Okay. One is my job. I have to be in my office. I'm there. I can work with these organizations that I'm familiar with. Mm-hmm. That's not something the average resident is familiar with. Calling the MPCA, calling the EPA. I'm used to it. And let me advocate on their behalf. And one of the things I keep telling the residents out there, I understand you got a problem, but help me help you. And that's really kind of a strategy that we've carried forward in the Red Oaks. I think that's how it'll carry forward over in the Eastbrook, that they'll help me help them. And we're going to be working with the MPCA to secure funding for the Eastbrook neighborhood as well.
Well, good. So the motto of welcome home that you live by every day is continuing to work even in the existing homes that where we've got a couple of issues. Thanks for doing that. So we've driven past some construction recently, and some people might not know, but on Hanson, you've got a new 911 dispatch center that's either opening or close to opening.
Well, it's under construction.
Okay.
The tip-up panels are going up. A lot of the underground work has been put into play, but that is an Anoka County project.
Okay.
It's their new 911 center, moving from a very small center in downtown Anoka. To date myself, I remember when they expanded in the Anoka facility in downtown Anoka. I actually worked there at that time, so it's very cramped, but ultimately, you know, they're going to get a state-of-the-art facility, 911 dispatch, training facility, and we're happy to have them in Andover. Much the same as the Sheriff's Department, they call Andover home. 911 dispatch will call Andover home as well.
Oh, well, good. Now, this time of year, a lot of the residents of Andover aren't complaining about the roads quite as much as they are during April, May, and June when the snow melt goes and they have these potholes that have been sitting around. Tell us a little bit about what you got, how you're working with the mill, the overlays, and the replacements. How does that work for the city of Andover?
Well, the mill and overlay program, we've embarked upon a process of really being aggressive on mill and overlay, which is taking off that top inch and a half and then grinding it up and putting a new fresh layer on. This year we did 16 miles. The year prior, you know, we're 12 miles. So, and the year prior to that, 9. It all started with an initiative of the council committed to making the streets in Andover better. But the mill and overlay program also comes in. It's a more economical solution for the residents. They're not looking at these huge assessments, smaller assessments, where we're seeing somewhere between, you know, $400 to maybe $1,000, whereas you get into a full reconstruction, now we're talking a couple $1,000s, and that usually really catches people's attention. We prefer to, let's get out there, let's preserve that roadway, and let's do it in a more cost-effective manner. And the council's commitment to improving the streets, I think we're making some impact with these mill and overlays.
So how does that, I mean, 16 miles seems like a lot, plus you have new developments coming into Andover right now. How do you able to juggle like the new streets, the old streets? I mean, how does that work?
Well, we're not going to do them all overnight. It's a process over time. We grade the streets, and I can tell you our street department is out there looking at these all the time to find out what is the next candidate. Sometimes roads just plain get too bad, and we have to go out, and the next program, not mill and overlay, is reclaim, which we take up the whole road and put it back. Worst case scenario is if it gets even so bad that the underlayer goes out, then we're into full reconstruction. We want to try and avoid that as much as possible. But our street department, headed by Jason Baumunk, is out there. They're grading these streets. And I have a phrase every once in a while when he comes in and he finds a street that got real bad. Sometimes they'll just change overnight from those potholes. We call those projects 0 to hero if they get put on the plan and they're next year. And unfortunately, we got a few of those that'll happen next year as well. Not planned, but they just went from a perfectly good street 2 years ago to garbage.
It happens, yeah.
And it happens.
Water does wonderful things to the streets and a lot of other things. One of the most corrosive chemicals out there.
Well, and what we found is one of the things that everybody thought and the industry thought was helping save the streets. Seal coating was a great thing for our streets, but we're finding that it actually was a detriment to our streets, and we're clipping off that top inch and a half, and it's because the seal coat is attaching and water's getting underneath and it's releasing. So
well, good. We don't have to shut down for seal coating. That's even better. So a couple years ago, we talked about the modules that were put on for the water, accounting. That program had just started, I think, a couple years ago. Complete, or are we still?
Oh, for the AMR
yes,
automatic meter reading, we're done.
We're done. Okay.
It took us a long time to get going. It was kind of during the tail end of COVID, supply chain issues to get the meters delivered. But once we got going, working with our partner, Core and Main, it really got done as quick as, just in the course of 6 months rather than we were thinking it was going to be a whole year. So it's up and running. The message I'd like to leave, though, for the residents on it, yes, we can read your meters, but we don't read them all the time. We don't really want to know what's going on. But if you have a problem in your house and you think it might be related to water usage, call us. We'll work with you to, measure that meter, see if it's during the day. Your sprinkler system is leaking. We can work with you. Pick up the phone, call our utilities department, and we'll see what we can do. But it's a great tool.
Yeah, great. Next 6 months, I would imagine in your office you've got a project board that is long. And what are the next 6 months? What's some of the stuff going on in Andover?
Well, one is just really kind of getting through the budget process, getting through the capital improvement process, which is that board. What are we going to be doing next year? We just talked about the Red Oaks neighborhood, planning for that. That's a very unique project. No one like this has been done around the state, so this is going to be our first time doing a project like that, and the first time the MPCA has been doing a project like that. So that'll be it. A lot of neighborhood meetings for street projects again. Getting the budget across the finish line, prepping for legislative issues. You talk to the sheriff, there's a little legislative change that can throw a monkey wrench into a lot of things. We like to be able to, have the ear of our legislators so they don't make mistakes like that, or I guess I won't call it a mistake. Give unexpected consequences relative to new laws.
Unintended consequences on some of those, absolutely. Hey, I want to do one more shout out on the 16th of September at Sunshine Park. It'll be Movies in the Park. What movie's planned?
Mario Brothers.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Well, great. So, City Administrator Jim Dickinson, and we appreciate you being here, and thanks for everything you do for Andover.
All right, thank you. Glad to be here.
Right. Well, hey, it's the fall season. School's back to school back next week, and we are getting ready for the Fall Fest at the Eveland Farm, which is another hidden gem in Andover. We'll take a look at what's going on over by the high school.
Fall is on the way, and we have a great, family-friendly destination for you. Located in Andover, Minnesota, the Eveland Family Farm offers plenty of fun, from picking pumpkins and gourds to hay rides and plenty of animals. Eveland Family Farm is the perfect spot to pick out your future Halloween pumpkin. And hey, while you're there, grab a snack from one of the food trucks on site. Visit the Eveland Family Facebook page for the full food truck schedule, but they will have a wide variety of offerings this fall. The Eveland Family Farm also offers tours, birthday parties, weddings, graduations, in addition to being open to the public. You can find the Eveland Family Farm at 2575 Andover Boulevard Northwest. Stop on in and grab a pumpkin this fall.
Hey, what a great treat it is over at Eveland Farm. I tell you what, I love the pumpkins and love the Fall Fest that happens over there. One of the hidden gems, along with this place, the Bunker Park Stables here in Andover, right off Bunker Road. So we are wrapping up. We had a chance to talk with Jim Dickinson, who is the city administrator, and gave us an update on the wells. We also had a chance to talk with the fire chief and the Sheriff Brad Wise, and both Chief Jones and Sheriff Wise have a great relationship, and they need your help. They would love to see you be part of the community with some of their Explorer programs and some of the volunteer programs that they have available for you. And if you've got some young kids, that would also be a fun opportunity to get them out and get them to be part of either the fire department or the sheriff department. But one other thing is just a reminder that if you have any questions in regards to the SRO policy, please visit the website for the Anoka County Sheriff. And finally, you know, as we continue to do these live and local shows here in Andover, I want to make sure that we talk about community involvement. Right now we have the high school starting, and high school sporting events are on, along with some musical and theater productions that will be happening later this year. So a great time to get out and enjoy the community. Not only that, the Lions Club and some of the service clubs around Andover, please be present, be part of them, and enjoy your community, because there's a lot to be given and a lot to be taken away from as we get through. So I want to give a shout out to the crew here on at QCTV, the remote crew, Ryan in the truck, and a special shout out to Seamus, who directed, and to Leslie Sauer, who is my right-hand person with this, who writes and produces the show. And that is live and local. And once again, great job by the staff and our guests today. Finally, Cowboys, they don't say goodbye, they say see you later. And we'll see you later on the next Live and Local for Andover. Thanks for joining us today.